Okay, Michael Fetland, latest update on the Iran fiasco that keeps getting more weird by the day. Trump issued a 48-hour warning to Iran if they didn't open the Strait of Hormuz immediately, we would start taking down all their power plants. All right, so that deadline hit about the time Monday when he suddenly says, "Oh, well, we've been talking with them and we put it off for 5 more days." Within a minute or two, Iran said, "We haven't been talking to him. Why should they? He just killed the last group of negotiators after they had agreed to all our demands for inspections, etc. So why would they trust him to negotiate with? He changes his mind every 10 seconds. Really? You're going to negotiate with someone like that?" So guess what? He tacoed again, chickened out. Trump always chickens out. And why did he chicken out on attacking their power plants? And he's going to do it again in 5 days? I'll tell you why. Because Iran has been doing tit for tat. When we hit their Natanz nuclear facility, they sent a missile right into the Dimona uh, facility in Israel, where they make their nuclear power and nuclear bombs.
Whoa!
So, tit for tat,
Whoa!
kind of a
Whoa!
warning. They didn't actually
Come
hit
on!
the plant, they hit the city, but it's the same message. So basically, if we start hitting their power plants, Iran will hit the Israeli power plants, and Israel has a lot fewer power plants to hit to knock them totally out than it would. Iran has way more power plants spread across the country, twice the size of Texas versus tiny little Israel, all bunched right there together. So if you want to start knocking out power plants, they're game. They're all in. They haven't done it yet, which says a lot. But this is why, Trump has been a total disaster fool. He didn't listen to all of our intelligence agencies who said they are not an imminent threat. Who did he listen to? Bibi Netanyahu, who's been preaching for since the mid 80s. Oh, Iran's 2 weeks from a nuclear war for what, 40 some years, right? And they still did not have any, after we hit all the nuclear facilities last June, that suddenly they're, imminent nuke. Oh, come on, man. Use your common sense, people. It's all a lie. So now here we are. And unlike tariffs, which you can like turn the tap on and off like an idiot, which also raised all of the prices because tariffs are paid by you, not China, you don't start a war and just suddenly say, "Oh, yeah, we're done." What? No. Once you kick the hornet's nest, it's the hornets decide when it's all over. And right now, uh, and then Trump, who has belittled all of our NATO allies for, gosh, years and years and years, suddenly, oh, well, they need to come in and help us. Why would they want to run into the quicksand right next to you because you were a fool, right? Um, you know, the Strait of Hormuz, if you look at a map, any warship that goes right through that little tiny curve, they're toast. They're within artillery range. You don't even need a missile for that. Or they have a suicide boat, runs up, blows up next to the ship, and boom, it sinks. There was a 2002 war game called Millennium Challenge. Look it up. Called off. We did a simulation war with Iran back in 2002. That's before drones and all this stuff. Our Navy called it off after we lost several ships and an aircraft carrier. Why? Because the team that was playing the Iranian part didn't think like Americans. They thought like Iranians. They literally swarmed our ships with these little boats they've got, speedboats, loaded with explosives and detonated. Yeah, so it took out the crew. What do they care, right? They're fighting a holy war. And that's what sunk our aircraft carrier. That's why the carrier force we have is not going through the Strait of Hormuz. They're down there in the Gulf of Oman, if you pay any attention to this stuff, they're playing it safe because they know if they go through there, boom, they get knocked out. The tankers are all bottled up. So guess what? Oil prices that you think are bad now, they're going to get worse come April. Why? Because 20% of the world's oil goes through there. They're not moving. They're letting a few ships go through, like India pays some Chinese yuan. They get to have their ship go through. That's it. So it takes about 2 months for a tanker to go all the way from the loading place there in the Persian Gulf to the market in Europe or wherever it's going. So those guys are not moving. So that crunch is yet to hit the market. Yeah, we are so energy independent in America, but guess what? Oil is set by a global price, not a local price. So the only people smiling right now are the EV owners that don't have to worry about the cost of gas because electricity is a tiny fraction of the cost of filling up your car. So the thing is going to get worse. Trump clearly doesn't know what he's going to do. How do you prep for this? Well, basically, I don't think you can, other than buying an EV right now. You're stuck. And really, how much of this was really about distraction from the Epstein files that, he didn't want to have exposed because innocent people don't hide files. They go ahead and release them. So for Americans, Trump has basically wrecked the economy, tariffs added to the prices everybody pays. It causes inflation that had been coming down, down, down under the Biden administration to about 2.5%. Now they're going up, up, up. Our economy is taking a hit. My personal business did fantastic during the Biden years. It's sucking right now. That's why I have time to make this stupid video because there's not much happening for the entrepreneurs out here. The restaurants are emptying out unless you've got some oil job. You're on the margin here. So Trump has worked his magic to make America his seventh bankruptcy. We're now hitting 39 trillion in debt, a record over the last 250 years of accumulating debt. 25% of that was due to one man, Trump. Yeah, can you imagine that out of $39 trillion debt over 250 years, one guy in office for first term 4 years, 1 year, the second term, 25% of that debt is due to him. So that's another huge hole that the next Democratic president is going to have to dig us out of because every time the Republican takes over, we get more debt. Whenever the Democrats are in power, we get jobs. 95% of the jobs are created by the Democratic presidents. 95% of the debt has come from the Republicans, Bush's unpaid for war in Afghanistan and Iraq, then the Trump unpaid for tax cuts for the super rich. He's given them $5 trillion in tax cuts while what? Cutting your uh, infrastructure investment. You will get no health care. You will uh, basically be starving children are cut off from food worldwide because of this man. He's now deleted an offshore wind farm. He's going to pay the company $1 billion not to build a wind farm. And supply and demand, economics 101 people, the more energy we get, the lower the price. Well, he just cut down one of the cheapest ways of new power is wind power and solar. You can build them cheaper and faster than fossil fuel plants that need buy fuel to run, expensive oil, expensive gas. Well, the sun and the wind don't charge. So you can run those babies all day long. In fact, Texas runs its wind and solar plants about 80 to 90% of the time before they have to kick in a gas plant to kind of continue the coverage, saving a huge amount of money. All right. So Trump is making us his seventh bankruptcy. How you like that? So guaranteed it will get worse. He is not in control. The Iranians have way more missiles than we do, and it's not going to end well. This is going to end like Vietnam, where we lost 50,000 young men who never got a future, children, grandchildren, for a stupid war, for a corrupt South Vietnam administration that wasn't worth saving. We spent trillions on Afghanistan to knock out the Taliban, who runs Afghanistan today. The Taliban, oh my God, that was such an upgrade for 20 years of war and $1 trillion we could have spent on education, healthcare, road fixes, bridges, a lot of things other than military things that blow up. And so there we are. It's you voted. If you voted for the man, I'm sorry, but you were a total fool. We all have to live with it. He needs to be removed from office. He's showing signs of severe dementia. He can't hold a thought more than 10 seconds. He's irrational. The Japanese prime minister he insulted with his Pearl Harbor stupid joke. I mean, what? And then when Robert Mueller died, oh, I'm glad he died. Mueller served in the service. He was, you know, Mr. Bone Spurs Trump ducked Vietnam service. So, it took President Bush and Obama to say, the right things about the man dying. It's like we've got the worst human on the planet. You could pick a random person off the street who would be more intelligent and more decent than Donald Trump. Sorry, but that's the truth. Till next time, Michael Fetland, hang on your hat. Hey, if you like that, hit subscribe, do a like, send it to your friends. I was a 9/11 terrorism analyst, so I do know a thing or two. And just out of a test, I tried to see if I could get ChatGPT AI to do something that was not factual, and it would not do it. Unlike, big oil or Trump, it doesn't go with lies, it goes with facts. It will do the analysis. So if you don't know, check with AI instead of just listening to some bozo on social media. Michael Fedlin, till next time.